name's Steven Cristoforo. I grew up in a pretty broken home with a mother who was an atheist and a father who was a non-practicing Catholic. I lived with my mom most of my life, so I grew up pretty distant from my dad. We moved around a lot, and I ended up moving back down here to Florida, where I was actually born. I met up with a couple of kids who I had known from my past, and I didn't know it at the time, but they were all pretty heavy drug users. They introduced me to their lifestyle of raves and partying, and like any drug user, I really began smoking weed and moving on to the heavier drugs after that. With the involvement of drugs led me into experimenting in different kinds of occult, and I began practicing witchcraft. And through witchcraft, my relationships with my parents really began to break and become much worse than they already were. And my relationships with my friends began to dwindle down to just about nothing as well. And because of this, I had nobody I could communicate, nobody I could confide in. I became completely passionless about everything, about school, about my friends, about even caring about relationships. I just didn't care about anything. Before I had moved, I had a pretty decent life, considering society standards. I was pretty normal. I dropped out of school. I moved in with my friend, who for 8 months I slept on his floor in his father's house. He didn't even know that I was living with him the entire time. And I got fired from my job, and I had no source of income, no way to survive. What me and my friend did for food, we would go to the gas stations and ask people for money because we would say our car broke down, or we would sell fake drugs to people that we knew, or we would go to dig in trash cans and find receipts of items that we could steal from these convenience stores and sell them back to them. And out of all the money that we ever made, we never spent anything on food. Because of that and all of the things that I was going through inside and the secrets that I was trying to keep away from everybody, my paranoia began to heighten. I was afraid that my friends might find out the things that I was hiding from them. I looked at myself as nothing at this point in time. I ended up getting Baker acted in this mental hospital for about 3 or 4 days. My dad actually ended up getting me out of there, and I still don't know how. But I was looking for help in every place except for the one place that I needed to be looking. And eventually, a lot of the things that I heard my pastor say when I would go to these church services really captured me. And I'd heard the gospel almost my entire life, but I never understood it. And the phrase "just have faith" was never enough for me. Okay. So I met this guy at my church who I began seeing regularly over coffee. He would begin to minister to me pretty much every opportunity that he had. But one day he told me that I should really try and seek God as if he were going to respond to me. And he seemed really confident that he would. I put that off for several weeks, but one day I decided to just go for it. Christ purchased me with his blood, and he reached down into that pit and he pulled me out. The day that I put my heart out on that line, that was my beautiful exchange.